Namaste. Welcome to Paisa Forever channel. Let me ask you a question. What keeps you up at night? Is it the fear that your portfolio dropped 20% while you were sleeping? In the world of crypto, volatility is the price of admission, right? We've all seen the memes. Bitcoin goes to the moon, then crashes back to earth. It's thrilling, but let's be honest, it's exhausting. But what if I told you that the biggest story in crypto right now isn't about the next 100x altcoin? It's about the quiet giant that grew to over $310 billion in 2025. It's about the asset class that is literally rewiring the global financial system, and specifically how money moves in and out of India. I'm talking about stablecoins. Today we are doing a deep dive. We are not just covering the basics, we are looking at the massive explosion of stablecoins in 2025, the institutional takeover coming in 2026, and the heavy geopolitical games being played with the US dollar. Most importantly, we are going to talk about you, the Indian investor. We need to talk about the 30% tax, the 1% TDS, the RBI's warnings, and why your choice of stablecoin in 2026 could decide whether your funds get frozen or grow safely. Grab your chai, sit back, and let's decode the future of digital money. First, let's strip away the jargon. What exactly is a stablecoin? Think of it as digital cash. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum are volatile. They are assets. Stablecoins are designed to be boring. They are designed to hold a steady value, usually pegged one-to-one with a fiat currency like the US dollar. But not all stablecoins are created equal. By 2026, we generally look at three main types. First, you have fiat collateralized coins. This is your USDT, Tether, and USDC, Circle. For every digital coin they issue, there is mostly a real dollar or a US Treasury bill sitting in a bank account somewhere. This is the most popular model. Second, you have crypto-collateralized coins, like DAI. These are backed by other cryptos like Ethereum. To keep it stable, they are over-collateralized. Imagine taking a loan of 80 rupees but giving 100 rupees worth of gold as security. That's how DAI works. And third, we have commodity-backed coins. This is interesting for us Indians. Coins like Pax Gold. Each token represents one fine troy ounce of London good delivery gold. It's digital gold, but you can send it across the world in seconds. Why do we use them? Simple: speed and efficiency. If you want to send money from New York to Mumbai via a bank, it takes days and costs about 6% in fees. With stablecoins, it takes seconds and costs pennies. Plus, they give you a safe place to park your money when the crypto market gets too crazy, without cashing out to your bank and triggering a taxable event. Well, usually. But more on taxes in a minute. Let's rewind a bit. How did we get here? 2025 was a historic year for stablecoins. The turning point was July 2025 with the passage of the Genius Act in the United States. This wasn't just boring legislation, it was the starting gun for institutional adoption. The US government finally said, okay, stablecoins are legal, but you must back them one-to-one with cash or treasuries. The result? Confidence skyrocketed. The stablecoin market cap hit $310 billion by the end of 2025. We saw massive players enter the game. PayPal's PYUSD became a major tool for consumer payments. Ripple launched RLUSD for enterprise cross-border settlements. Basically, 2025 was the year stablecoins graduated from being casino chips for crypto traders to becoming legitimate internet money for the global economy. So, what does 2026 look like? If 2025 was about legitimacy, 2026 is about bifurcation, a fancy word for a split in the market. We are seeing a massive showdown between the two kings, Tether USDT and USDC. On one side, you have USDC. In 2026, this is the institutional dollar. It's fully compliant with the European Union's strict MiCA regulations and the US Genius Act. If you are a business, a bank, or a regulated exchange in Europe or the US, you are likely using USDC. It's transparent, audited, and safe. On the other side, we have the heavyweight champion USDT. Despite all the regulatory pressure, Tether is still king in terms of liquidity. Why? Because traders love it. It dominates the Tron network, which is incredibly cheap for transfers. In emerging markets, and yes, in the offshore markets used by many Indian traders, USDT is still the default currency. Another huge trend for 2026, yield. We are seeing the rise of yield-bearing stablecoins. Now that interest rates are stabilizing, new protocols are allowing you to earn interest on your digital dollars similar to a US bank account. However, and this is a big warning for my Indian friends, earning yield on these platforms can be a tax nightmare in India. Now, let's zoom out. Why do governments care so much about this? Here is the geopolitical reality of 2026. Stablecoins are the new mechanism for US dollar dominance. In the past, if you lived in a country with high inflation, getting your hands on physical US dollars was hard. Today, you just download a wallet and buy USDT. This is digital dollarization. The US government has realized that regulated stablecoins actually help them. They increase demand for US treasury bills because that's what backs the coins and extend the reach of the dollar. But this scares central banks in other countries. The Reserve Bank of India, the RBI, has been very vocal about this. In their recent financial stability report, the RBI warned that widespread use of stablecoins could threaten India's monetary sovereignty. Think about it. If everyone in India starts using USDC to buy coffee instead of rupees, the RBI loses control over the economy. That is why the RBI is pushing the e-Rupee, the central bank digital currency, so hard and why they are so strict on private stablecoins. Alright, let's get down to business. What does all this mean for you, sitting in Mumbai, Delhi or Bangalore? The Indian landscape in 2026 is what we call a high-friction environment. It's legal, but it's tough. First, is it legal? Yes, under the Income Tax Act, stablecoins are virtual digital assets or VDAs. You can buy them, sell them and hold them. But, and this is crucial, they are not legal tender. You cannot legally walk into a shop in Bandra and pay for a burger with USDT. Second, the tax reality. This is where you need to pay attention. The 2026 fiscal landscape is rigorous. You pay a flat 30% tax on any profit you make from selling stablecoins, plus the 4% cess. So your effective tax rate is roughly 31.2%. And here's the killer, no loss set-off. If you make a 1 lakh rupee profit on Bitcoin and a 1 lakh rupee loss on USDT, you cannot offset them. You pay tax on the profit and you eat the loss. The government is your partner in profits, but you are alone in your losses. Also, don't forget the 1% TDS. Every time you sell crypto for INR or exchange one crypto for another, like swapping Bitcoin for USDT, 1% of the entire transaction value is deducted as tax deduction at source. This creates a permanent trail for the taxman. Third, the exchange dilemma. In 2024 and 2025, the Financial Intelligence Unit or FIU cracked down on offshore exchanges. Now major global players like Binance and KuCoin are registered with the FIU IND. What does this mean? It means they are reporting your trades to the Indian government. If you are trading on a compliant exchange like CoinDCX, WazirX or the registered global ones, the TDS is deducted automatically. A word of caution on peer-to-peer or P2P trading. Many Indian investors try to save money by using P2P to buy USDT. Be very careful. In 2026, bank account freezes due to P2P fraud are unfortunately common. If you receive tainted money from a scammer in a P2P trade, your bank account can be frozen by the cyber cell. My advice, stick to the compliant liquid on-ramps on registered exchanges. The fees are the cost of sleeping peacefully at night. So, which stablecoin should you hold? Here is my strategic framework for 2026. For long-term holding and safety, USDC is your best bet. It is the most compliant, audited, and least likely to face a regulatory ban in the West. For active trading, USDT is still the liquidity king. If you are moving funds between exchanges or trading altcoins, USDT usually has the best pairs. For wealth preservation, consider Pax Gold. Indians love gold. Pax G gives you that exposure without locker charges and it's regulated. For decentralization, if you are a DeFi power user and don't trust centralized companies, DAI is still the leader, though even DAI is partially backed by real-world assets. And please remember the golden rule, not your keys, not your crypto. If you are holding significant amounts of stablecoins, get them off the exchange. Use a hardware wallet like a Ledger or Tangam. Exchanges are for trading, wallets are for saving.
the outlook for 2026 is clear. Stablecoins are not going away. They are becoming the plumbing of the global financial system. For us in India, they offer incredible access to the global economy, but they come with strict responsibilities. Stay compliant with your taxes, don't chase shady yields on unknown platforms, and keep an eye on the regulations, because in this game, the rules change fast. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm more than you know. Subscribe for more updates on the Indian crypto landscape. Until next time, invest smart, stay safe, and hodl responsibly. Jai Hind.
Disclaimer: this video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. The market involves risk, so please conduct your own research before investing.